top of the 8th inning. So he's going to have to go 9-inning save for Jeff Hoffman, and he's only got 1 run as of right now. Yeah, there is the chance that they can add to their lead, but Hoffman came in and got Edman to ground out to second base. So it's now heading to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 1-run game. Dodgers trail 4-3. Blue Jays will try and give themselves some insurance runs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. I am going to punch up my first guest, Gary Mandela, longtime trainer on the West Coast, analyst and handicapper as well. He was at Del Mar both of these past 2 days. He's going to jump on with me and talk about the great racing that we had, the Super Bowl of horse racing over the last couple of days. Jody Mack with you on the Infinity Sports Network. 1 hour.
The backseat. Check the backseat.
All right, come here.
Check the backseat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the backseat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The Huskers are headed to the locker room, and it's time for Big Red Overreaction. The live postgame show with all the info and opinions you can handle. Plus the most important voice of all, yours. Big Red Overreaction is presented by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Get on the line now at 402-951-1620 and sound off on Big Red Overreaction. Live on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The K.
Well, folks, it's Groundhog's Day. Nebraska football loses once again to a ranked opponent for the 29th straight time, dating back to 2016, as the University of Southern California Trojans come into Memorial Stadium on a raucous blackout night and defeat the Nebraska Cornhuskers 21-17. You are listening to Big Red Overreaction, brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take baking personally, and no name nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. We also want to thank our supporting sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, Prairie Flower Casino, Play Longer, Win More, and Peerless Energy Systems, your local Compare Air Systems experts. A lot to touch on here in this 60 minutes of play. I'm Matt McMaster, joined by Josh Odson here at the 1620 The Zone studios. And it's almost as if this game ended perfectly. Emmett Johnson. No. Not talking about the result of the game. I'm talking about the result of the play. It ended perfectly, and Emmett Johnson falling over himself, because today Nebraska football fell on themselves. And yeah, we're going to talk about the Dylan Raiola injury. And look, obviously that affected the game. And TJ Lateef, unfortunately, whether you're a Tiffy or you weren't a Tiffy, just was not ready to play and was not ready to be in a moment. And granted, it's high expectations to expect a true freshman quarterback like that to be ready for that moment. But the reason why I say it was almost a perfect ending and a perfect representation of what the game was is because nothing was different today in terms of the flaws that we've seen from this football team. When Nebraska football went to Kansas City and played Cincinnati, the run defense was not good. The run defense against the quarterback was not good. We are now 10 weeks removed, 10 whole weeks removed from that game. And still, the run defense is not where it needs to be. The defensive linemen have not improved in the way that they needed to improve in terms of run scheme. The ability to stop the quarterback in the run game has not improved. In that game, and even before Dylan Raiola got hurt against Cincinnati, we wanted more from the pass game. Dylan Raiola gets hurt, and even before he got hurt, you needed more from the pass game against USC. That hasn't been solved. And so, once again, Nebraska football plays a game against a ranked team, doesn't show improvements in the areas that they needed to improve in, and that ranked team comes in and exposes them and defeats them on their home field.
Feel like you left out the coaching staff hasn't improved much either. as they just seem to be running random plays at random times that are disconnected from each other. And how many timeouts do we have in a half? 3, 5, 11? Doesn't matter. I want them all now.
Well, the problem is, Josh, is that, look, I've been making this joke about we don't have our crap together third quarter timeout, and it's been kind of tongue in cheek in a way, but it's also been representative of the fact that Matt Rule in his career as the coach of Nebraska football has not shown a great ability of how to manage a game and manage a clock. And tonight was just the confirmation of it. Like you went a little bit without him really messing up a time situation. Like there was the last time he really, really fudged it up was the Michigan game. And even then they got bailed out by that Hail Mary. Like this one confirmed to you, handling a game is something that Matt Rule has not gotten better at.
And he has the built-in, I don't know, excuse, reasoning, whatever you want to call it, of, well, my quarterback and my starting left tackle got injured on the same series. So you don't know what would have happened.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the worst part of this game. That really is the worst part, because I think there is a lot of fair criticism to be had about the performance of this game. But the fact that you don't really know, like, the outcome of this game could have been very different, and it was based off of non-football plays that determined it. And Absolutely. It was just down to injuries, and that is the crappy part. But the problem is, Josh, that's not good enough for Nebraska football fans right now. It's not. You cannot say, well, we would have won. Nebraska would have won if Dylan Raiola, didn't get hurt. How many times over the last couple of years have we said, well, they would have won if this didn't happen, and you would have won if this didn't happen? If he punted it the right way, they would have won. And if they didn't call a bad PI, they would have won. What the sentence "they would have won" is not good enough anymore. At some point, someone on the football team has to just buck up and make a big play at a big moment in a big time, and just get rid of all the other BS and say, no, we are going to win this game because of me. And you know what? Emmett Johnson did his damn best to do that today, but he needed help. And frankly, on the offensive end, they just could not find it. And it really boiled down to another fact of, yes, Dylan got hurt, but even before Dylan got hurt, 10 of 15, 91 yards.
Yeah, I'd like to see him stretch the field a little bit more. God, you had a great atmosphere tonight. You had
and you wasted it.
Even as it was imploding around you, that crowd was still giving you everything they got. And I understand the fans don't suit up and play plays for you. So how real is that an intangible? But we've seen that crowd dead in that games like that before, and they were still backing you till the clock hit 0, and you wasted it.
And another thing too is, like, man, I want to give so much credit to the fans, because this game could have been different without their intensity, because 4th and goal on the 2-yard line, USC's been running the ball down your throat the entire time to get into that position. The noise of the crowd causes that false start that makes them kick that field goal. That crowd was worth points tonight. And I want to give a ton of credit to the athletic department for not just saying, hey guys, I don't know,
wear black or something.
It's a blackout, and we'd like you to wear black. No. We're gonna have black balloons. We're gonna have a black field. We're gonna make sure the entire jersey's black. We're gonna go ahead. There were some towels in the crowd. They were doing that. I mean, they were also too.
Hey, Adidas, can we have a welcome to your worst nightmare sign? Hey, NBC, if you're gonna have our helmet on, please make it a black helmet.
He did a great job with the blackout. But once again, Josh, it doesn't matter. Yep. It doesn't matter, because you can do anything you want off the field. You can sign a coach to an extension, and you can tell me that everything's going better, and you can tell me that things are headed in the right direction. You can tell me, hey, the 2027 class is going to be great, and you can put on all the events you want and have all this hoopla. But what matters at the end of the day is that in the fall on Saturdays, you'll walk in and you score more points than the other team. And yes, Dylan Raiola got hurt and it sucked, but at some point, you just have to buckle down and do it and win and say, here we are. This is what we've been working for. This is the new identity. And they had that opportunity against Michigan. And they had that opportunity tonight with an incredible crowd, one of the best crowds I've ever seen on TV, period, end of story. And they weren't able to get it done.
I feel like they got up 7-0 and just said, hey, how long do you think we could sit on this?
Well, and we'll get to the play calling in a bit, and we got a lot of time here. We're going to be going.
It's not about us.
We're probably going to be going till tomorrow. So buckle up. It's going to be a fun big red overreaction. I know that we're waiting for Matt Rule to get to the podium to have his post-game press conference after Nebraska loses to USC by the score of 21-17. But before we get there, we will go to the phones. The longest person waiting has been John, 21 minutes. I'm pretty sure John was on when it was still like 8 minutes left in the third quarter. John, we got you. What do you have to say, my man?
You with me? Am I here?
You're here, John.
Oh, good. I've never called before. I do love the show.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, as soon as we decided to kick a 52-yard field goal, I kind of lost my mind.
Mm-hmm.
On a 1 yard, we're up 14-6, if I recall.
Correct.
It felt like 1 yard. I get it. Our backup quarterback's in, but we do have EJ, and I think if we can get that 1 yard, I think if we can get points, the game's totally different. I don't know that we can kick a 52-yard field goal, and everything changed after that, and I just felt like that set me off. It was just a real bad call, in my opinion.
Thanks for the call, John. Yeah, thanks for the call. Yeah, it was a terrible call. And here's the thing. I mean, the fact that they had to use timeout, they had to use those 2 timeouts in the third quarter. Number one, Matt Rule uses a timeout because he's too busy yelling at the refs, and for whatever reason, the play clock gets down to 0, so they got to burn that one so they don't take the delay of game. And then for the second time, they go ahead and they have this 4th down. The last time they did this, by the way, was against USC on the road, where they take the weird timeout on 4th down, thinking, all right, do you go for it? Do you not go for it? Then they tried getting them off sides, but they were in field goal range. And so they're trying to hike them off sides, but then they have to burn another timeout to keep themselves within field goal range. And then they take that timeout and you're thinking, all right, they're going to come back and go for it. No, they decide to kick the field goal that they clearly couldn't have kicked because it was short by multiple yards. That is the sequence of this game that I think a lot of people are going to call about and complain about, and rightfully so. We go back to the phone lines. We're going to go to Wes. Wes, you're on live on Big Red Overreaction. What do you got to say, my man? All right, Wes, not there. We're going to go to Brian. Brian, you're on BROR.
Yeah. Who said you're trying to hike them offside?
It looked like, I don't know what they were doing. He was just on there, and he was going hike multiple times.
Wait a minute. First, before I get into my take,
sure.
Try to hike. Have you ever played football? I mean, try to hike them offside.
Well, try to get them off sides. What do you mean? Try to jump them off sides? Yeah, it's the same thing.
Try to hike them off.
He was hiking. Brian, get to your point.
Is that what you're coming out with in your shows? They're trying to hike them offside.
It's a term. Brian, go ahead with your call.
No, I've never heard that term before.
Okay.
You try to draw them offsides? Is that what you're trying to say? Is that
draw like a doodle on a napkin?
Draw them offsides.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's spoken like someone who doesn't know shit about football.
Oh,
right,
bye, Brian. Loser.
What a loser. Dude, you're trying to draw them offsides. Get out of here.
Come on.
Go to the phone line.
Use the context clues, you dumb.
Nick, you're live on BROR.
Nick, don't be afraid to talk. We won't yell at you.
Kenneth, you're live. Let's go. We got to get some calls here. Kenneth.
Yeah, I'm here. Yes.
Go ahead, my man.
Hey, I want to talk about, number one is Nebraska fans showed up, and Matt Rule wasn't on the bus. I mean, if you don't play to win the game, that 4th and 1, I mean, I don't know, bunching that up, going up the middle, that play was never going to work. Spread it out. Latif is a rollout quarterback. You spread him out, let him get outside, let him run the ball a little bit. The play calling, I thought, was horrible. I don't know what your thought is on Matt Rule's timeout. You've got one job as a head coach, and that's game management. And he has never improved on that. To give this guy a 2-year extension when he's done nothing, has not beat one program that was ranked, I don't get it. I was hoping Penn State grabbed him. What's your thought?
Yeah, this is one of those situations where the extension, whether or not you had your opinions on it, it just came at a very poor time, and the fact that you have a very big game and you have been able to win big games, and then you lose this big game, and now that's a focal point that we'll be talking about. Speaking about Matt Rule, he's live at the podium, so we'll tune you into him.
Unfortunately, we missed the kick. When it came to Dylan, who made the decision that he was going to go back in? Did he say he wanted to go back in? Or?
He did. Dylan wanted to play. From a medical perspective, they were like, he can't run. He said, "I can move around. I just can't run." I just didn't see the respectable thing to do to put a guy out there who can't run. So, TJ, I think TJ has a bright future. He's going to do a lot of good things. And when I thought, maybe some of the, he might be able to run, make some plays. But really, at the end of the day, I just don't think you can put a guy out there who can't protect himself. I don't think that's the right thing to do. So, the trainers didn't want him to go out there. So, but they didn't say, no, he can't. They just kind of were like, hey, he shouldn't be out there. So I told Dylan, I love you too much to ask you to play when you're hurt like this.
When TJ was in there, how much of your playbook? How much could he handle of what you guys wanted to run in terms of putting in the game plan this week? Yeah, he did all the things in practice. We had to go to a wristband. Just some of the verbiage and all that stuff. He doesn't get as many reps at it. So I think some of that stuff. On that one drive in the red zone, the play we fumbled the snap. I think we'd have walked in on the screen. We had a great play versus zero call, and so. But he he did a good job. I had to call timeout one other time where we were just kind of a little discombobulated with how we were lined up. And so, your first time playing in that situation, in that crowd, in that atmosphere, I thought he did admirably. And if he has to play next week with the full week, I think he'll play really well. So proud of him, proud of his effort, proud of the way he went out there and did it. But obviously, anytime you're starting quarterback, you lose your starting quarterback and a freshman goes out there, it's going to minimize some. And I think just some of the things just, had to get into a huddle a little bit more so he could communicate it. Obviously it's not what we had planned on, but it is what it is.
How would you size up the defense tonight? They're obviously good first half. Those two long pass plays got you in the second half a little bit.
Yeah, anytime we give up 200 yards rushing, we're not going to be happy. At the same time, I don't think anyone's held them, for 21 points very often. They were explosive, and so I thought they had some really, really good moments, some valiant moments. But we lost the game, so we'll have to get better.
Matt, what was your view of the play that Dylan got hurt on? It looked like kind of a lot of chaos back there in the pocket. What did you see?
Yeah, we had run the ball, and then he called a play action pass. So it's a kind of a one-on-one shot to Dane, and I have to see the play. I haven't seen it. I think you would say to yourself, I think on that play, you're not thinking, it's maxed up protection. Like, hey, we're taking a shot, not there, get out of it. I think Dylan was trying to make a play and then ended up, unfortunately, getting him hurt. I have to see exactly, what happened to see who, what, when, where. But we had good rhythm. We were running the football. And so he ran that play. He ran that play again. He actually called the play action pass once before, and Dylan audibled it to the run because of the coverage they were in. We had the one-on-one coverage. He said, I'm going to take a shot to the receiver, and just, the guy maybe felt like the guy wasn't covered, and then just kind of held it and started running around. So in that situation in the red zone, we just get the takeaway. We'd love to just protect the football and get out of there and, get away with points. But again, I look forward to seeing the play on tape.
How good did you feel at that moment? 14-6, you just got a turnover. You're in their red zone, like you said.
I think for us, we know Link, like I said, I think you guys would know better than me. They score a lot of points a lot of times, right? So we knew we were just going to have to keep playing, right? So it wasn't like any one play was going to win or lose the game. In the third, we were just kind of like, hey, kind of going back to the decision to take the points instead of going for a fourth one. It was just kind of like, hey, let's just keep collecting points. I felt like it was just going to be a battle to the very end. And so, we punted the ball. We get that takeaway by Marshall. Obviously, it was a great play, a great adjustment by him. And then, we have the turnover, but you're just going to keep battling back and forth, and try to make more plays. At the end of the game to win the game. And they ran the flea flicker that obviously flipped the field on us, and then got the pass interference call to put the ball down in their tight. Other than that, we were holding people. We've done a pretty good job of holding them to field goals. Until then.
Do you guys have a flip the field play that you considered there, even though TJ was in the game, with knowing that it was probably going to be hard for him to do all the things Dylan was?
Yeah, I think we threw, I don't know the exact amounts. We threw a couple balls down the field, like the same kind of plays to Isaiah and some different guys. At the end of the day, we were right there with them. Twice they made contested catches and made good plays. And so, our DBs made a lot of plays on the ball early in the game. They made a couple plays at the end. but we did put a couple shots up there for TJ and to those guys. And then, a lot of things were just read out, right? Like it's a shot to a check down. And, we caught a double move to Ja'Cory, similar to the one we ran against Michigan State, and TJ scrambled on it. So, I think we called some of them. It might not seem like that when you're kind of watching it.
You kind of expect them to run Mayava that much and that way that they did. They ran.
Yeah, we knew the way we were playing them early on that they were going to, we were chasing the counter. We knew they were going to do that. There's always a player for the quarterback. A couple of times the player was there and Mayava made the play. So, at the end of the day on defense, you have to get off blocks and tackle and make plays. And he made some nice plays. John made the adjustment after that to kind of, hey, we're going to play the quarterback more. And, that led to like that at the end. We had a nice play where we got the quarterback for a loss. But yeah, that's part of their offense, right? They'll run the quarterback when you chase the counters. And there's really nothing there. Obviously the nice trick play they ran, there's really nothing there that was surprising or, just kind of what they do.
Can you speak to the energy that you guys got from the crowd at the beginning and being up 7-0 after the first quarter? Did you feel like, looking back, that there was an opportunity to have done even more on offense there?
Again, like I said, Mitch, like I just know it's going to be a battle. I mean, they played Notre Dame to the very end. They played it. All along I told the guys, like, we're going to play back and forth. It's going to come down to the end, and you're going to have a chance to win the game. And we had a chance to win the game. Could it have been better? Should it have been better? Absolutely. But we kind of knew that's what it would be like. It's a big time football game. They're in the position they're in as a result of what they've done. I thought the crowd was amazing. The energy was amazing. The atmosphere was electric. I thought it was special. I thought our guys had some. You lose your quarterback, your left tackle. You have a couple tough breaks go against you, and you continue to battle. That's why I love these guys. So I think that's why we're probably, the loss is hard to take, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I thought we had a good plan to run the football and pop some runs early that helped us.
Matt, I went over 1,000 yards tonight. Can you speak on his effort, what he gave you guys?
Yeah, I thought he was, as always, I thought he was elite and caught the ball, ran the ball, made plays, and proud of him. I thought our offensive line blocked and protected well. And, really, I think the only sack we gave up was that that one on the play action pass that unfortunately got Dylan hurt. Maybe there was another one you guys will know. But, no, Emmett just continues to compete and fight and scratch and claw. And, unfortunately, we weren't able to get the win for him.
It looked like he was trying to go, you guys call it for him.
Who's that? I don't. Once he was hurt, they never came to me and said, "Hey, he's up." So I didn't have much. I knew, he's had a history with that ankle, and he was in a lot of pain on the field. So when I walked off the field, I was like, I didn't think he'd be able to go.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys.
That was Matt Rule after Nebraska's 21-17 loss to USC. We will be here for the rest of today and then maybe into a little bit of tomorrow on Big Red Overreaction, which is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier life. And also Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, along with Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more. And Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. Coming up after the break, we will get to your calls on a nearly loaded phone lines. We have one more line open, and we have Scott, Jake, Andy, John, and Vince all coming up next year on Big Red Overreaction.
At Dingman's, we understand that when you bring your vehicle to us, you're entrusting us with your safety and peace of mind. As part of this community, we're here to look after you and your
Big Red Overreaction is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally and No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. We also want to thank our supporting sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, along with Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more. And Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. We will be talking about the Nebraska football game here, but Josh Odson and I might be slightly distracted at times as we are in a tie game at the bottom of the ninth in Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah, and I have to check the contracts, the legalities. I believe we can disseminate because the other radio station down the street who could be airing this game has chosen not to. Vladdy.
Oh, high fly ball!
Nope.
So at some point, there might be some freaking out and yelling into the microphones as the MLB season is about to come to an end. But a season that is still going is the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They were 6-2 entering today's game. They had an opportunity to have 7 regular season wins for the first time since 2016. They had a chance to snap a now 9-year streak of not being able to beat a ranked team. And regardless of Dylan Raiola getting hurt, which, by the way, I'm not being ignorant here. It was obviously a massive reason as to why they did not win the game. And it was incredibly unfortunate, and you absolutely hate to see that. But despite that, they still made a lot of questionable decisions when it came to clock management, game decisions, in-game decisions, when to go for it, when to kick a field goal. There was some very questionable play calling that was happening, even dating back to when Dylan was in the game. And I'm talking about those two kind of third down. I think it was 3rd down and 8 and the 3rd down and 7 where they decide to run the ball and try and play a field position game against the number 1 ranked team in terms of yards per game in the country. But look, Josh, the story of this game is going to be the Raiola injury and the Pritchett injury. And we'll be talking all week about how do they recover from that and so on and so forth. But, you know, still, there were things in this game that you looked at. They're like, damn, we're still talking about this. This still is an issue. This still hasn't gotten even marginally better.
Yeah, I mean, I go back to the play calling. I'm gonna grift some things from Stumanji.
Sure, go ahead.
I know he doesn't care, or at least has never told me he cares. Nebraska's opening drive, 14 plays, 75 yards, 7 points. Nebraska's next 9 drives, 48 points, 211 yards, 10 points, 4.4 yards per play. They do very well on that opening drive, script, play, whatever you want to call it. And then afterwards, when it's plays you haven't practiced ad nauseum all week, they get a little fire drilly, like, oh my gosh, what's going on?
Yeah.
Everything's happening around me.
Yeah. And it is interesting at this point. You can kind of point back to minus the Cincinnati game and minus the Minnesota game. You've had very successful first drives in terms of yardage. I mean, you got to go to the Michigan game, and when they went for that on 4th and 2, they didn't get it. But still, you're right. I mean, this offense looks best when and now I don't know if they were fully scripted in the first drive, just because I don't know if you have 3 fade balls.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, on the
I don't
first
know
drive,
if
like it seemed
14 plays deep on the sure.
It seemed a little more natural, but you're right. Like even the fade balls, though, like I'm sure that'll be a call tonight. Like that clearly has been all season not a throw that Dylan Raiola has been consistently able to make, and it feels like it's the most one that it's the one they call the most. Where once again you have a game where just Dylan Raiola did really not threading over the field in terms of throwing the ball over the field, in the middle of the field rather. And then you got TJ Lateef in there, and they were just afraid to throw with him and almost were refusing to push the ball down the field. And he had one throw on the outside of the numbers, which, you know, did hit him in the hands, but it was a good play by the USC defender. But yeah, I mean, it was very clear to me that how, in terms of what plays they were calling when it came to TJ Lateef, they just had no trust in his ability to throw the football. And it's just one of those things where in this day and age, you cannot have a backup that is just one injury away that just can't do that you don't trust enough to push the ball down the field. I mean, this is the modern football now. You have to be able to throw the ball, and you cannot have a guy essentially
or call plays to his strengths.
Yeah. I mean, but still, I mean, it was just very, very disappointing in terms of how the pass game looked. Now, something that wasn't disappointing was Emmett Johnson. He was absolutely incredible, and we'll talk about that more later. All right, we will go to the phone lines now. We will bring in Scott. Scott, you're live on Big Red Overreaction. How you doing?
Oh, hey, fellas.
How are you?
Howdy.
Oh, I thought I was on the line to get a promo code for the Mayo Bowl.
No, this isn't it.
Maybe not. Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry. But while I have you on the line, I certainly want to give a shout-out to Reese and Burwell and the Entourage, who played in the Flatwater Classic earlier this summer. It was a delicious golf tournament. Anywho, I want to just get right down to business. I never want to see anyone go down on the field.
Mm-hmm.
But when Rayola gets down on the field, I don't feel that bad because Latif showed so much goddamn heart in the first couple weeks of this season.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He showed so much opportunity to spread the field, to maybe get that playbook a little more wide open. Never want to see somebody go down, but I want to ask you a question. When we're down 3 or 4 scores against Minnesota, why aren't we putting Latif in the game? Why aren't we giving somebody else the ball? Maybe raise a little competition among the offense and get this thing moving. Like, I understand it's a huge ego thing to take somebody off the field, but man, when we take as you said just earlier, when we take somebody off the field and there's no production on the other side and the play callers don't trust him, is there anything we can do to maybe make this offense a little more well-rounded in case something does happen? Anywho, I love what you guys do. I love that everyone, all your sponsors, they pick up the phone as fast as you goddamn guys do. And man,
you can't.
this-
All right, you can't say GD on the radio. Stop it, Scott. Also, too, I mean, we saw what TJ Latif looked like tonight. We saw the obvious problems and the lack of trust in being able to throw the football, and his just obvious
Seems to be a gap between the two.
Massively. So I think in terms of why didn't you put Dylan in against Minnesota, I think you clearly saw why. I mean, there was quite the gap. All right, we'll go to Jake from Fort Myers. Jake, you're live here on Big Red Overreaction. Jake,
I think it's a Hey, can you guys hear me?
I hear you, Jake.
When you talk.
Hey, we big fan, longtime fan, lifelong Husker fan here. My big question is, at what point do we think Dana Holgerson is a Geno Smith, Tavon Austin merchant and not a real offensive coordinator that can call plays, just deep balls and swing passes to an all-star college football player? Because I watch this offense and I watch a bubble screen on fourth and 2, and I want to shit myself in the seats.
What the heck?
Stop swearing.
This is a radio station.
Stop swearing, please.
I'll pull the plug on this show and talk baseball. I swear to God, I'll do it.
We've had 2 S-bombs. You cannot say the S word on the radio, people. Okay? You can't. I didn't know that we had
I understand.
To use
We're all in pain
as a
right now,
disclaimer.
okay?
But this is ridiculous, guys. All right? There's certain things you can and cannot say.
There's a
and
structure.
There's not a lot that we could do about that if you say those things, all right? So, Jake, thank you for calling in. I'm not even, as a punishment, I'm not going to talk about your call because I'm sure somebody else is going to talk about Dana Holgerson and the questionable play calling.
I'm sweating over here.
Yeah, I mean, Peter's hit the dump one 3 times, guys.
His dump finger is broken.
This is ridiculous.
I broke my pointer finger dumping calls.
All right. We're going to go to Andy. Andy, for the love that's all that is holy.
Andy, you have the chance to do the funniest thing in the world right now.
We'll stop taking. You know what? I'll turn this car around right now if you don't all get it together. All right? I will. I know you want to go to the Wisconsin Dells, but I will go back to Skokie, Illinois. Andy, you're up. Jeez.
As much as I want to say FMS, I got to look at this team ain't real. They're not big dogs. They can't finish big games. You know, I love Emmett, killing it. And we're up 14, 6, and can't finish?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean.
And that was when Raiola was in. And then we handcuffed TJ. And then we should expect this with Nebraska football. And that's the problem.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate it. Look, it's one of those things where it's hard at times to judge this game because of the injury, Okay. But there were things that were going on before the injury that were inexcusable, that if those things did not go on, you question of whether or not they would be in the position that they were in.
Absolutely.
Right.
There's a lot of inconclusive here.
There's a ton because yes, DR got hurt and clearly is the more ready and determined and able quarterback. Now I don't want to say determined, just more ready and able quarterback at this point than TJ Lateef. And we saw, that on display when Lateef went into the game. Granted though, like there were some things that happened that just shouldn't happen anymore. And they should have been in a much better position with more timeouts and probably up more points than what they were. And once again, this team has a defense playing really, really good football in the first half and an opportunity to take momentum early on in the game. And, there's no such thing as closing out a game in the first or second quarter. I'm not naive to that, but they had so many opportunities to get the crowd even more into the game than they already were and build on more momentum that they had. And they just, once again, were unable to do it. And it falls back to what you were talking about earlier, Josh, about they love getting a lot of yards on the first drive. After that, it's a struggle.
Can't hang back for three quarters. You gotta make a play. Someone's got to make a play, and you gotta find a play that works and make the play.
And this boils down to, once again, Nebraska football just unable to play a consistent 60 minutes of football. We go back to the phone lines. John, what do you got for us? John, you're live on Big Red Overreaction. How you doing?
Doing great. First time caller, long time listener. Just absolutely disappointed after tonight's loss, and really dominated on defensive end, and then we're able to go down and score a touchdown on a back shoulder fade, no less, which I absolutely hate. But I also like to give a shout out to the crowd. The all black looks sweet, especially with the field matching the crowd. And then my next point is just how often the TV broadcast, especially in the second half, continually brought up how unsuccessful we've been against ranked opponents over the last decade. I think tonight is the 29th straight loss against a ranked opponent, which just further adds to the disappointment. As a young Husker fan, I can't remember the last time we won a ranked matchup. Clock management continues to be just horrendous. And two shout outs to end the call, and I'll hang up and listen. But shout out to Game 7 of the World Series. Got a little bit of free baseball going in the bottom of the ninth. And then, shout out to daylight savings, giving everybody an extra hour to sleep this one off and give me an extra hour to get up and go hunting tomorrow morning. So,
nice.
Boom.
Thanks for the show, and have a great evening.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the compliments, John. Absolutely right. Once again, in terms of it's just so disappointing to have that crowd and have that buy-in and have that cool moment and have that investment. And, they're just unable
seem so scared
close
to do anything. And just super frustrating.
And also too, like, I understand leaning on the run game. I get it. I understand trusting Emmett Johnson. I understand
that's your best player.
That's your guy, right?
Keeps the ball away from their high-powered offense. I get it.
On the second and third possessions of the game, on those third downs, they ran plays that were really non-competitive and being able to get that first down. And I just question, why are you conservative in those moments that early in the game when you clearly have the crowd behind you and a ton of momentum and a defense playing really, really well and an opportunity to assert yourselves early in the game? I just very much question why the conservative play calling in those two situations.
Very, very quickly before you take this next call, if you are in your car in traffic or something, but the World Series Game 7, bottom of the ninth, the bases are loaded, one out. Toronto is up to bat. LA has brought on Yamamoto, who threw 96 pitches last night.
That's crazy.
In relief. They have ran 4 starters, have the Dodgers, and there's a foul ball. Okay, take the call.
All right, we're going to go to Vince here, but we are on a warning of a scream warning if the MLB season ends on a walk-off here, which it very well could have, and Canada will go crazy. So, Vince, you're on, and you're also on warning. You're on Big Red Overreaction here.
All right, I've been waiting, and I've been listening, and Matt Rule is full of beep. How's that?
Thank you.
Perfect.
That's allowed. You can do that.
I beat myself. Yeah, so tonight he didn't take any blame. Kind of put it on, well, we had a backup quarterback. Well, we didn't have I don't want to hear excuses. This bull beep. I mean, seriously, we're third quarter. Been saying this forever. What is going on in the third quarter? Why can't we keep the gas pedal on, get some scores? But I didn't understand. 2 timeouts burned in the third quarter. Can't get your beep together. You easily could have got that first down. I don't understand. And you watch other teams who play the game and they take twice I heard the announcers say, "Ooh, a little razzle dazzle by USC," and I'm like, "What? Was it what?" And they made big plays. Nothing for Nebraska. Razzle dazzle's been gone. And you know what? Did we have a blackout game before and we got our butts kicked? I mean, I get it. It was cool. It would have been awesome, but it didn't mean nothing when you lose like you did. And it wasn't, I mean, a one-score game, but you're at home. You had all the momentum to just make plays, make stuff happen. Once again, I keep going, third quarter, just a failure. And we're not the four-quarter team, well, we didn't show up there either. I actually, and a caller had said this, not that you want to see somebody go down, but I actually thought maybe we have a chance with backup quarterback. Let's see what he can do. And when Matt said in his press conference, well, we had to go to he had to keep checking his wrist. Why? He's in practice. He knows the playbook.
Yeah,
why is it different? I want to see something. I want to see this guy get out there and get that chance and make it happen. Be the winner. Make this place go wild. I just don't understand it. Big team, big game, national TV, a ranking team, and you just choke again. I'm sick of it. And
what happened? I blacked out there for a second.
Upset.
No, Vince, I totally agree with you, and all great points there. And look, they're I'm sure you had a great call. I'm sorry, the MLB season almost ended multiple times.
I didn't want to step on Vince. I'm sorry.
No.
I
and Vince,
pulled my headphones out.
And Vince, in the moments I was listening to you, that was I mean, there needs to be a little bit more preparation for TJ Lateef, and I was disappointed with a little bit of how conservative they were. And I also thought, look, he didn't play great, but I thought he would play better. And there was an interesting comment that you made that we might talk about later in the week. At the same time, that might have been one of the craziest sequences of baseball I've ever watched in my entire life.
The second, we're going to extra innings in the Game 7 of the World Series. The second and third outs were incredible theater.
Oh, my God. My heart is in my stomach.
You might want to watch YouTube.
And I don't even care about these two teams. I really don't give a damn whether or not the Blue Jays win the World Series or the Dodgers win the World Series. That was absolutely insane. And that insanity is brought to you by Equitable Bank. They take banking personally, along with No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. And our supporting sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, Prairie Flower Casino, Play Longer, Win More, and Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. Before we go to the break, we'll take one more call here. We'll go to Alex. Alex, you're live. You're on Big Red Overreaction. Alex, swing and a miss. Joe, you're live on BROR before we go to break. Joe, what do you got for us?
I just cannot believe John Butler. I mean, if you're getting gashed with 3 down linemen, maybe we should blitz someone. Maybe our gap should be different. I mean, God damn it, make a play. I was pissed.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Real quick, want to clarify this again.
What was it this
You cannot take the Lord's name in vain.
Oh, another
followed
one.
by a damn.
Yeah, can't do that. Okay.
We're all feeling the same way.
We all are.
We're all
that.
trying to find the man who did this.
Funny enough, I will respond to that call because, look, John Butler, let's be real here. Like, the defense played great for 2.5 quarters. And then once again, when the Nebraska needed them the most, they were just unable to get the stop that they needed. And this was something that
sort of 90s Nebraska just kind of ran them out.
And it was another thing too. Like last season, it felt like in big moments in third down, they weren't able to get off the field. And even the red zone defense was questionable last year. And they brought in John Butler. When they brought in John Butler, those were some things that they touched on. Getting off the field on third down and having better red zone defense. Those things haven't really happened. And look, I the whole conversation of them bringing pressure, period, end of story. They just got to be better at rushing 4, before you even start thinking about sending 5 and 6 and how often they do it. And clearly now this game, they looked better in terms of rushing the passer. I will give them that, but still overall this season, it just has been a consistent problem that regardless of who they're putting out there or what they're trying to call on defense, they just haven't been able to solve. So I think Butler, look, you could say great game, bad game. I don't know. I think that he probably is on the lower end of problems in terms of what happened tonight. I think
because I was like, there's a lot of blame.
There's a lot of blame to go around. There was a lot of things that kind of take the cake before John Butler and his play calling as Freddie Freeman. I mean, just everything is going to the warning track. All right, we're going to go to a break, but we also want to thank Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. You'll listen to Big Red Overreaction here on 1620 The Zone. Big Red Overreaction is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally and No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. We want to thank our supporting sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, Prairie Flower Casino, Play longer, win more, and Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. We're going to go back to the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. First up to bat is Brian. Brian, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, my man.
Hey, I'm a little frustrated tonight, just based on the game, but I'm also a little frustrated that people are using bad words on the air.
Thank you, Brian.
Like swear words. So I promise that I'm not going to use a swear.
Brian,
I feel like you're setting me up,
Brian,
Brian.
you son of a gun. You better, I swear to you. I swear to you, Brian.
What
Go
do
ahead.
you mean?
Go ahead.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Go ahead.
I did want to point out that either last week or 2 weeks ago, there was a caller into this show who said, like, hey, I bet all of our problems will be fixed. But it didn't turn out that way. Right? Like, your backup quarterback is always the most popular guy on the team, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm not blaming Latif for anything, but it's never going to be like a Band-Aid, like an immediate fix to bring in your backup quarterback. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have brought him in. Obviously, Dylan is hurt, and
yeah,
he needed to come out. But boobs.
Thanks, Brian. No, I mean, look.
I'm a child. I'm sorry, man.
That's funny. Look, the whole TJ thing is, I don't have any real takes on TJ Latif. I'm not really going to make.
I can't grade that performance.
I'm not going to tell you that he's going to be good or he's going to be bad or Nebraska has some sort of issue. It's one of those things where, look, he's a true freshman quarterback coming in a massive game, the biggest game of the year, in front of a sold-out crowd, like against not just any team, but a ranked team that is very capable of beating good teams. And so it's one of those things where it just sucks. It just sucks that Dylan got hurt. And it sucks that this game, we have to kind of walk around with the asterisks of, well, what happens if Dylan doesn't get hurt?
Seems like maybe the coaching staff didn't put TJ in the best chance to win or call plays guided to his strengths. But
and look, some people have brought up a great point in the YouTube chat that
YouTube users are smart.
The one time that they did throw the ball, down the field, it's not as if it was an errant throw. It was a bad throw. It was a competitive throw. And so clearly the ability to some sort of an extent is there, but you just cannot play these teams at this high of a level and just obviously just have your play calls just be very obvious in terms of they're either going to run it here, they're going to try a screen, or they're going to play a quick hitter, or they're going to do some sort of RPO, or they're going to try and get him rolling out, or like the menu was so limited with TJ, and it was just very obvious that it was.
I do want to credit, I believe it was Sam, someone in the YouTube chat, sexy and smart listeners. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was Sam that asked the question of, hey, do you have a flip the field play?
Yeah. And also too, it became very clear that just Nebraska against USC just does not have the speed or the athleticism to just have a 60-yard touchdown or an explosive play or some instance where you could just run by everybody or you can have a massive momentum swing and play. They just did. It was clear that they did not have the ability to do that against this team, which once again, when you have a quarterback that you're unwilling to push the ball down the field with, it makes it incredibly hard to score, which is why they had incredibly limited success when TJ was in the game. All right, we go back to the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline. Jared, you're up and moving here. Jared?
What's up, guys? How are you guys doing other than the loss?
We're doing fine. Alive and healthy.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. Just wanted to get you guys' thoughts real quick. Greg McDermott has a lot of weapons. Schwartz, McAndrew, a lot of guys that can shoot the ball this fall. Just wondering how you guys think the Creighton Blue Jays starting five is going to shake out this fall.
Well, Jared, that's the beauty of this year's Creighton Blue Jays is that they're so deeper than they've ever been before, my friend. So it's not all dependent on the starting five.
No Creighton Blue Jay talk here. No Creighton Blue Jay talk.
Toronto Blue Jay?
Toronto Blue Jay talk. Bases are loaded.
They're
here
in a jam.
In the top of the 10th. My God, how the turntables, the Toronto Blue Jays were literally inches away from winning a World Series, and now they are one bad pitch away from potentially losing the World Series.
Top of the 10th, 1 out, bases loaded,
which would be just absolutely heartbreaking for this Canadian faithful. We go back to the hotline here. Mike, you're on Big Red Overreaction.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing fine.
Hey, yeah, I got my biggest problems are with the coaching staff, same as everybody else. Why are we calling timeouts, defensive timeouts a lot in the first half? We're inside the 40 twice with the ball, come away with no points. I don't know, pretty conservative, but and this and that. I just think and then when Latif does come in, and yeah, he's a freshman and all that and everything, but call plays to his strength. Why isn't he more ready than that? Call plays to his strength. I mean, it's 4th and 1. Emmett's been solid all game, and we got a quarterback that can run the football. You're trying to tell me they don't got to play to get a yard, and we call timeout? I mean, that's just Matt Rule has been that way his whole career. Just terrible on that. But I don't know. My big deal is, yeah, everybody's dogging Latif, and what if Dylan was in what? Well, really, what did Dylan really do? I mean, I'm not saying Latif's better, not at all. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, it wasn't like Dylan was lighting it up, throwing the ball all over the place either. Yeah. So it's just the idea that they felt that they had to shut down so much of the offense because of Latif, and that's a problem because you never know when he could get hurt anytime, and the next guy is up. You only got 3 or 4 plays for him, and that's it.
Yeah.
And and the timeouts are brutal.
Yeah.
Terrible all the time. And offensive line, our defensive line cannot stop the run no matter what. So either we don't have the players to do that, and we need some money to get some defensive linemen that can. And then it really did show, even though a lot of people make fun of Pritchett, but he's probably our best offensive lineman, and when he went out, it hurt.
Certainly can't not have him, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate the call.
Jaden Mayava completed 9 passes tonight.
So that's and that's the frustrating thing. It's like the defense played well enough for them to win the game. And
if I told you on Thursday, hey, USC is only going to score 21 points,
I'd say Nebraska wins the football game.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I'm trying to balance, and I want to know what you think here, Josh. Like, I'm trying to balance the Dylan gets hurt, and clearly just the game, the offense is not the same after that. I'm trying to balance that with there still are some just really big mistakes that were made that at this point in the season from both players and coaching staff cannot be made. And if they weren't made, Nebraska, despite Dylan Raiola being hurt, very well could have won this game.
Absolutely frustrating that King Miller bounces out for 129 yards, but it was only 1 touchdown. It was super obvious. They're going to run the ball. They're going to get 10 yards, but
it's more so this. You tell me all week and you tell me all season, these games are going to be close. These games are going to be close. This is how the Big Ten is. There's a ton of parity. We know that these games are going to come down to 1 score. And yet you're wasting timeouts in the 3rd quarter.
To yell at a referee?
And then also,
if you were doing something else during that timeout, let me know.
I know, but also too, are you going to go for it? You're not going to go for it. Then you take the timeout. Then you're too short to miss the field goal. That's a poor decision. That's a poor decision to have your guy go out there and not have the wherewithal to be like, oh, that might be out of his range. It might be better off to continue this drive and go for it when you have a running back that's averaging, over 6 yards a carry. Like that is frustrating. And so I don't know. And then, and also too, now we're back to the play calling decision, and we're back to the not taking advantage of momentum conversation. And it's just frustrating. And I try, and I was very heated up in the first segment because it's just, once again, Nebraska football loses a 1-score game to a team that they could have beat, and they once again lose to a ranked team, and that got me really fired up. But you also have to acknowledge, hey, the offense would have had a much better or much easier time scoring, and they would have had a better opportunity to win this game if an injury did not happen. And so you have to be fair in that regard, but you also have to look at this and say, man, like once again, that just teams can run down your throat whenever they want to and control the game. And once again, in a very close game where time management matters so much, you fail to manage the clock.
Let's allow, since we cannot be irrational, let's allow the callers to be irrational.
That's
for
a good
us.
point. We're going to go to Joel here on the J Senate Contracting Hotline. Joel?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing well, my man.
I've had a hard time trying to figure out what it was I was going to say to you guys because I've been on hold for a while and I've had the thoughts just running wild. But I guess I'll just come out and say I would like to see the current environment of college football. I've heard there might be a few teams thinking about having a GM and then having somebody under that GM. I think Matt Rule would be a great GM. I think he should be hands off on game day. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, appreciate it. I mean, it's interesting though. Like, he is a CEO, and he's not calling the defensive plays, and he's not calling the offensive plays.
He's calling those timeouts.
Well,
though.
that's the thing. That's your one job, and it's just he's not very good at it. And it's just you hope that maybe he can just reassess. And maybe I would not look for all the money that they spend. I don't think it'd be a bad investment if they haven't already done it. Just hire someone to be your clock management guy, and just hire a clock management expert and be like, hey, don't take a timeout here. Don't take a timeout there. At the end of the day, though, the decisions that they're making when it comes to their timeouts and clock management don't necessarily have to do with, like tough decisions. It just has to do with they don't have their crap together and they have to take these timeouts. And it's just, that's absolutely unacceptable.
It's almost like Matt Rule has given you a bunch of evidence this week that he's a hothead who gets hyper-focused on one thing in particular and is willing to yell at anyone until he gets his way.
We're going to continue here with Big Red Overreaction. We go back to the phone lines before we hit our next break. Jefferson, you're live. What do you got to say?
How's it going, guys? It's good to talk to you. Shout out Josh Odson. He's killing it.
Whoa, thank you,
Reporting
Jefferson.
from the North Bottoms. I have a problem with this interior defensive line. We got Elijah Judy, Riley Van Poppel. They have black shirts on, but they're not performing like it. And also, I hope all the teepers out there can shut their mouth. Their boy did not do what they said he could have done. He can't elevate this squad like Raiola can. He can run it, but running it is not going to solve all of our problems. We got to throw the ball around. It did not solve it. When you get Raiola healthy, Raiola is the quarterback of this team, and Latif is not going to solve the problems. It's good to run the ball, trust me, I know, but we need Raiola back, and the Latifers were bringing us down for a long time. It was bad. There's a big constituents of them bringing us down. We need Raiola back. That was the problem with this game. I hope we can get him back in here.
Thank you, Jefferson. Really appreciate it. I mean, look, everybody talked about having more mobile of a quarterback in the pocket, but when you don't have a quarterback that you trust to throw the ball down the field, I don't think it really matters all that much with how mobile he can be within the pocket. All right, we are going to head to a break here. We want to thank our title sponsors, Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life, along with our supporting sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, Prairie Flower Casino, Play Longer, Win More, and Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. On the other side of the break, we'll take more of your calls. We only have one open phone line right now, and Josh and I are going to sit back and potentially watch a walk-off here in the World Series before we get back to reacting to Nebraska's 21-17 loss to USC.
Big Red Overreaction brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally and no name nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. All the calls you hear tonight brought to you on the J. Stinnett Contracting Hotline. I stole that one from you. You didn't know I was going to do that.
No, you picked up the paper and then you started reading, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I could use a break from reading. I've done a ton of reading tonight.
That's kind of what
because
I thought.
We have a ton of incredible sponsors that allow us to put on this wonderful show.
So many sponsors. This is 3 pages of sponsors.
A wonderful show that's not about me or not about Josh Odson. It's about you, the listener / caller. And in speaking in that, we go to the J. Stinnett Contracting Hotline to Espen. Espen, you're first up. What do you have for us?
Oh, Dodgers take the lead.
Espen.
Hey, guys. I don't even know what to say. Over the last, my whole life, I took the 97 title for granted when I was 2. I don't know what, we make the easy stuff look difficult no matter who the coach is. I don't think we should ever get rid of Rule. We need we need stability in this program, but going for it, kicking a field goal, and he's way short. We miss that. We don't go for it. Latif's not as good. I just don't know what to say. It's so frustrating seeing all this happen week in and week out. I hope we can get another win this season. I just don't. I don't know what to say. Latif wasn't the answer. I hope Dylan's okay. But it's just frustrating. I just wanted to vent. Thanks, guys.
Oh, of course, Espen. Hey, look,
I think that's the point of the show, Espen.
Yeah. It is incredibly frustrating because the defense did play very well. When we had somebody call in about John Butler, look, once again, he is far, far down on the list in terms of people that had problems today or issues.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
They only gave up 21 points. They held Jaden Maeva, who, is playing like one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten. They shut him down completely. They rattled him. They actually got a pass rush that was able to disrupt him. They played really good defense in the secondary.
Turned him over.
And look, Andrew Marshall got caught on that one fade ball on that touchdown that made it 14 to 14. 14 to 14. But other than that, I thought he played a really good game. I thought Sierra Wright played a really good game. Like, I think the defense played really, really well. It just kind of boils down to, I think, just the main core of frustration from tonight is, man, once again, it was there for the taking. And because of things that you really can't control, Nebraska wasn't able to take it. And even though that Dylan Raiola did get hurt, there still were mistakes that could have easily have been avoided that they have made in the past that they've continued to make. And it's just incredibly frustrating to watch that and having a backup quarterback that you just have zero trust in, to throw the football downfield is incredibly concerning, considering the fact that we don't really know Dylan Raiola's status for the rest of the season up to this point, which we are awaiting and definitely hoping that he will be okay. And it was just he got rolled up real nasty.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of NBC re-racking that replay over and over and over again. We go back to the lines here. We'll go to Brett. Brett, you're on Big Red Overreaction.
Hello, am I on?
Yep, you're on, Brett.
Oh, this is great. Hey, gentlemen, thanks for taking my call. Actually, it's not Brett. It's actually your good friend Brad.
Yeah,
Greater Charlotte, North Carolina Chamber of Commerce. I apologize for not calling last week. We were having a celebratory soiree, champagne, prime rib, honoring Nebraska's bowl eligibility, bringing them officially to the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl. We are super excited. I've been working with the Bank of America Stadium to offer the 1620 The Zone and the Grum a luxury suite at Bank of America Stadium during the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl. And as always, I have a vendor code. Book your hotel stay in the at any Charlotte area hotel with code RANKED29 for 50% off your stay. This includes free Chop House dinner, 2 tickets to the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and free passes to the Charlotte Petting Zoo. This code is good for 48 hours starting at midnight. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome Husker Nation to Charlotte, North Carolina, and this year's Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl. We look forward to seeing you.
Thanks, Brad. Sounds like one hell of a deal. I mean, he keeps adding more and more to this package.
So this is I'm not here every week. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a running gag during the show.
Yeah, this guy calls in. He called in as Brett, and he duped Peter. But typically he calls in as Brad, and he acts as the North Carolina Chamber of Commerce representative.
But he knows that Duke's Mayo Bowl is not affiliated with the Big Ten.
No, I think he's keenly aware. I think that this is a bit.
It's more of like a mid-range bowl is calling.
Everybody needs something. Okay. Everybody needs a bit that, even though it may not make sense, it makes them happy when they're able to do it. And that's Brad's bit. And
it's funny. The Duke's Mayo Bowl is funny.
Some people don't like it. I think it's hysterical. So as long as Brad keeps calling,
I just want to make sure
he keeps adding. I'm being real with you. He keeps adding more to this deal.
Okay, because I'm sure someone is in the car right now shouting like, "Oh, they're not even affiliated with the Big Ten this season."
No, it's a great bet. It's a great bit. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go back to the J Stitt Contracting Hotline. This call to you will be brought by Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more. John, you're up to bat. John, what do you got for us?
Hey, yeah, I do appreciate you've talked about it a little bit with the defense has been playing okay. I know rush defense has not been great, but still time of possession, we won one time of possession a day. The name I keep not hearing is Dana Holgorsen, and the offense, the play calling, everything has been terrible. His last year at Houston, first year in the Big 12, offense was ranked like 90th in the country. But for some reason, Dana's name keeps getting left out of things, and the offense, the play calling, it's a problem right now. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, John. I mean, it's once again, it just seems like there are some drives where it's like, wow, this is what it should look like. Like, this is great.
There are drives where it feels good to have Holgo the Oko. And then there are other drives where it's like, boy, that really felt like you just weren't even trying to get a first down, let alone points.
Yeah, it was one of
Vladdy just ripped one.
It's just kind of one of those things where it's like, I don't know. There are moments where I'm like, this is awesome. This is great. They're moving with pace. Like, they're getting the ball to the outside. They're running the ball really well up the middle. I want to credit, the interior offensive line today, awesome. Spindler, Evans, Latovsky, great job. Like, they 50 and 51, they were knocking bodies. Latovsky had that bad hold, but other than that, he was doing a really good job too in the interior. I was very impressed.
I really don't remember too many times yelling at the television about the O-line.
And no, seriously, and even like Tyler Kanak, like shout out to him and Corcoran. Like, look, are they the greatest tackles of all time? No. Were they the reason that Nebraska lost this game? Absolutely not. And on top of that, it's one of those things where they have lost games in the past because of the offensive line. So you're happy to see that improvement, at least in the pass game perspective.
Oh, good bunt.
So they move him over. So Vladdy's now on third with one out as the Dodgers are 2 outs away from winning another World Series. But yeah, it's you got to, for me, I got to go back and watch the game to give you a full, like, whether I'll tell you this.
Matt Rule.
Well, I'll tell you this. I am not on the, oh my God, I am defending Dana with my life and everybody's crazy, because I don't think that.
Like, you go ahead and yell at him.
There definitely are mistakes that he's made, and I still can't get over the second and third possessions on those third downs. Just it just uncompetitive calls that just seem like I don't know. It just it was a 3rd and 8 and you had 2 running plays. Like, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me in that moment.
They look like they're gonna try and get Clayton Kershaw to pitch the last out
of
this game. He is warming up.
Yeah, but I think that'd be a terrible, terrible idea. All righty, we go back to the phone lines, brought to you by, the phone lines is brought to you by J Stitt Contracting. This specific call will be brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems expert. Luke, you're up and moving here.
Hey guys, I guess when I watch this team, I would say this whole black shirt stuff, like, this stuff died when Osborne was done with the program. Like, let's get over this stuff.
I don't know.
Stop trying to imitate Iowa by playing Back in Black as your entrance song. Give the 94 Bulls back their intro song. You have the C-list celebrity for the Omaha World Herald, former Husker Adam Carricker, that is always doing his "Go Big Red, throw the bones" nonsense. But all of this is pathetic when you look at what played tonight and 2 weeks ago. Stop Stop crap talking teams like Minnesota when you lose to them. This is a team that's been bottom half of the Big Ten nearly every year since they've joined the Big Ten, and they stunk most years after Tom quit in the Big 12. I'm also confused on why UNL just gave this guy a contract, a huge contract, when he hasn't beaten a top 25 team, and now you have the $71 million buyout. You really thought Penn State needs to hire this guy? Like, come on. Then the other question of the group, Millard South High School. They have 12 plus Division 1A football players. The New York Times did a story on them over the summer. Rural staff has never actively gone after any of these guys. In the 2010s and the 2020s, I've seen NDSU Bison win all these national championships with kids that are from Omaha. Like the kid that played for Westside, that's their starting quarterback this year. These staffs that we've had at UNL have been completely complacent on looking at talent that was here locally. We were a program here in Nebraska that prided ourselves in the walk-on atmosphere that we had. They're not even recruiting kids in the state because, we have Rail and Rail's younger brother. Like, BFD. These guys aren't that great. Go ahead.
See you, Luke.
Thank you for censoring yourself.
Yeah, it's one of those things, though, where we have to mention, like, the class of 2026 is going to be small this year for Nebraska football because they just have so many redshirt freshmen and true freshmen and a lot of underclassmen who are on this team. And so they've loaded up in the last couple of classes, which is part of the reason why their 2026 in-state recruiting hasn't been as big as maybe you would hope. And Matt Rule has addressed those things. I don't think in-state recruiting has anything to do with tonight's loss. I think tonight's loss has to do with, number one, just once again, just poor management of the game from, at times, a play calling perspective, a clock management perspective. Has to do with, once again, wow, double play. Dodgers win the World Series. That's incredible. Sorry, I didn't have a great play-by-play there. That was a great double play.
It was. I didn't think he was going to get there, and then he got there in plenty of time.
One of the better series that we have seen in quite some time. But to
they
finish,
didn't get Kershaw into the game.
To finish my thought, like, the number one reason why Nebraska football lost this game tonight was because they did not have their starting quarterback for a large portion of the third and the entire fourth quarter. Despite not having their starting quarterback, though, they played well enough defense to win this game. And there were things that have hurt them in the past that have continued to hurt them. Once again, USC averaged 6.1 yards per carry tonight. And it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm not asking Nebraska to have a defensive line that is going to stuff the run every single time and is going to hold a team like USC to 2 yards a carry or 3 yards a carry.
And Dominican Sueing walking through that door.
But what I am asking for them is to have a good enough defensive line where the other team can't just say, all right, we're just going to run the same counter play over and over and over and over again because we know that you can't stop it. That's incredibly frustrating to watch. And I am also frustrated because we continually say, hey, this is going to be a close game. Hey, this is going to be a close game. Hey, this is going to be a close game. And yet you do things that hinder you when you get to the crunch time of having these close games. All right, we're going to take one more call, and then we're going to go to a break. Matt has been waiting a while here. Matt, you've been waiting 20 minutes. This is your moment. You're on Big Red Overreaction. Matt, you got a great name.
Hey, guys.
There you are. I hear you. I got you. Woo.
Oh, yeah. What a game, huh? I mean, it's just very Nebraska-like to trip and fall and lose the game, right? It's just where we're at in life. It's I don't know what to say other than terrible play calling. It's very frustrating. And if anyone mentions Creighton basketball on this show ever again, like, I'm pretty sure Creighton Andrew was on his knees in front of that guy that mentioned that earlier. So that's all I can say. It's just it's the play calling.
That's fine, Peter. Don't worry.
It's very, very questionable. I don't know what else to say. That's all I got, guys. I appreciate taking my call. Go Big Red. It's just we had it and we didn't make it happen again. So
yeah. It's just this talking about this game from a certain perspective just sucks because it does boil down to the starting quarterback being hurt. But
even though my opinion on 15 is rapidly changing with each passing week, I still would have liked to have seen what happened if he was in the game.
Well, and I'll just keep hitting on the head with the drum. It's just they're just other frustrating things that this team has continually done throughout the season, and it's very disappointing when you pinpoint a problem in the very beginning of the year in week 1, and you say, okay, this is an issue, and you have guys in the staff whose job is to find out ways to fix those issues, and those issues just have not been solved. And it seems like out of all the things that have gotten better, the shining light of this all has been Emmett Johnson and his improvement. I mean, even if you told me that Emmett Johnson would be playing this caliber of football, not in the offseason, just after the Cincinnati game, I would have told you, really? Really? He's going to be that good, and he's been that good. And I think it's a good thing that they've been able to lean on him and have a guy as reliable as he is and as efficient as he is at the running back position. At the same time, even before Dylan Raiola got hurt, this past game seemed incredibly limited, and that's wildly disappointing considering just the amount they've invested into the offense and the amount they've invested into Dylan and how talented he is. All righty, we're going to head to a break here. On the other side, we're going to talk about some college football scores that happened earlier today. We're going to talk about a little bit about this World Series, and then we'll go back to your calls. We have almost a full line. We have 5 of the 6 lines full. So if you want to come in, we have 1 spot remaining. If you want to get your thoughts on the game out there, we want to thank our title sponsors, Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Along with our supporting sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center, Mechanical Repair, Prairie Flower Casino, Play Longer, Win More, and Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. You've been listening to Big Red Overreaction here on 1620 The Zone. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after a quick break. We are back here for Big Red Overreaction, which is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, and No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. And our supporting sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more, and Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. Before we go back to the phone lines, we will go over a couple of scores here that have happened around college football. Currently, Utah and Cincinnati are taking each other on. Utah is up 24-7 with 13 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Oklahoma defeated Tennessee 33-27. That was great for the mixed sports book. Massive upset in the ACC. There was actually two big upsets in the ACC, but the biggest one of the ACC, NC State takes down undefeated Georgia Tech. The Conference of Chaos is what they call the ACC, and that's what occurred today. Michigan took down Purdue. Virginia
That's a good name for nobody's good.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Virginia took down California earlier today, so no chaos in that ACC matchup. Ole Miss handled business against South Carolina. Fun fact, Lane Kiffin, I think it's 2-29 against teams that Ole Miss is a 10-point favorite or greater against. His two losses were last season to Florida and Ole Miss. This was another game where he was favored by double digits. They secure a win there against South Carolina. Interesting to see what happens with their head coach in the future. Texas Tech defeated Kansas State 43-20. Georgia had a big win against Florida. That was a close game. SMU upset number 10 Miami earlier in the day in a game that should not have been close, but ended up being close because college football is dumb sometimes. Texas defeats Vanderbilt 34-31, and Vanderbilt should have recovered that onside kick, which would have made that game incredibly interesting. Ohio State proved today why they're just really, really good. They defeated Penn State 38-14, and I think that's hitting most of the high notes from today's game. Notre Dame defeated Boston College 25-10. So there's your scoreboard update. Oh, and the MLB season's over.
Yes, Dodgers. Will Smith homers in the top of the 11th to give the Dodgers a 5-4 win. First NL team to repeat as World Series champions since the Reds of the mid-'70s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a great stat.
Thank you.
Where, in terms of World Series in your lifetime, where does this rank for you?
Oh, great question. Wow. On the high side, I mean, you had that 18-inning game, which was
incredible. I mean, essentially had 8 games.
That's right. A lot of close games, good moments, pretty high.
Just trying to spice it up a little bit because we're going to go back to the Jay Stinnett contracting hotline. Where
the most important voice of all.
Yes, yours, where I'm sure that there probably are some upset calls. But, I mean, for the most part, these calls have been pretty well-mannered, and I think that there have been some well-mannered opinions because, unfortunately, and it's just so frustrating that it's just like, man, Nebraska was there, and they were playing really good football on defense, and it seemed like the offense had a little bit of a grip of what they were trying to do, and then they suffer an injury. And despite that injury, they still had.
They almost overcame all of that.
Yes, and that's the frustrating part. Where it's like even through getting over Pritchett going down and having 2 tackles that I don't think anybody on their bingo card had Turner Corcoran and Kanak starting at tackles at any point or playing at tackles at any point this season yet. It happened. Like despite all of that, they still had opportunities to win this game, and it just seemed like the last play of the game kind of put it all into what it was about, right? Just kind of tripped over themselves.
Whoa, UCF lost to Baylor 30-3.
Yeah, it wasn't even competitive. I mean,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I needed the scoreboard update. I hadn't seen any scores all day.
No, that was a bad game. So UCF scored 45 points against West Virginia last week, but when they play good teams in the Big 12, they are bad. They don't score a lot of points. So we go back to the phone lines here. Heath has been on hold for a little bit here. Heath, how you doing?
Hello?
Hey, Heath, you're on.
All right. Hey, okay. Here's my question. It might be like twofold. When is the last time that Nebraska has been able to put in a backup quarterback that can run the offense the same as a starting quarterback? I feel like it's been back in the 90s. And does that come down to recruiting? Can we not get the same style quarterback to run the offense, like why can't Latif or any backup, we don't have a backup that's not a freshman, so any of our other backup quarterbacks can't come in and run the same offense. We should not have we should not feel uncomfortable to call the same plays on every down that we would no matter who we have at quarterback.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Heath. I mean, I want to think it's hard to judge TJ because it's such a tough position for him to come in.
Yeah.
And so now, in my opinion, should TJ Latif look a little bit better than what he did? Probably. Should they not have to completely like pare down the offense and never really be a threat to throw the football down the field when he comes in the game? No, that is concerning. At the same time, though, it is also concerning that even before the injury, it's not as if this passing offense was lighting up USC and throwing this ball over the field. Even when Dylan Raiola was in, they had their issues.
Dylan, 10 of 15, 91 yards and a touchdown today.
And he had the one fade ball, which was really, really good. To key in the end zone. And that was really the only time I could think of he really pushed the ball down the field. All the other times were kind of, I hate the term dink and dunk because it's such a derogatory term. And sometimes throwing the ball short is the best play you can possibly make. And so I hate the term dink and dunk, but there were just mainly some shorter throws that he was making, but they were the right decisions. But at the same time, it just, for how much talent he has and the play caller that you have and what you've invested in terms of the wide receivers, this passing offense should be better. It should be better. That's just a fact.
And Isaiah Hunter, your leading receiver, 5 catches, 30 yards.
We go back to the hotline here. We're going to go to David. David, you're up and moving.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
Hey, first of all, I want to say I'm not trying to make any kind of excuse. I hate losing. It sucks all around. But I think we have to understand something. We're 6-3.
Yeah.
We have not had the worst season that we've ever had. We've seen that in the past. We are much better than we used to be. I think that it's really easy to look at this game and see all the bad stuff and say, well, you know, it all sucks. We're always going to be this way. It's getting better.
Yeah.
Like, we are a much better football team than we were 3 years ago. We're in a better place than we were last year. And the truth of the matter is, we could be Penn State right now. I mean, look at those guys. I mean, they've lost their coach. They were expected to play for a national title this year, and they're in shambles. We're not that. Like, yes, we have a team that needs help, but we are 6-3. We're going to be okay. We're doing better than we have been. I just don't understand why everyone's so upset about this. I hate losing, but this is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
David, I got a question for you, though. Would you agree, though, that the frustration of boiling of once again for the 29th straight time not being able to beat a ranked team is cause for some frustration?
Yes, I get that. And I'm not trying to say that it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. But we are not as bad as we have been.
Yeah.
And we're going to get there. I truly believe we're going to get there. I've seen a lot of people talking about anger because Matt Rule got an extension and all this stuff. Like, we're doing better. He's got us in a better place. Like, let's just relax, understand this is a process. Not everybody can be Indiana. We're going to be okay.
David, I really appreciate that call. Because I think that David brings it's very easy to call into one of these shows, and I love our callers, right? But it is easy to call into the show and be very fired up and say, hey, this is all going to hell and this absolutely sucks. And it's incredibly frustrating. And I don't blame those people who are frustrated like that. It is hard to call into a show, a reaction show after a loss and be like, hey guys, things are going to be fine.
Let's pump the brakes.
And so but I give David a lot of credit for making that call. And I don't think David's really wrong. I don't think he's wrong at all. I don't think you can deny that Matt Rule has Nebraska in a much better spot heading into the second week of November than the coaches that he took over for. Okay. I mean, and I don't think you can deny the fact that they have made progress and that they, for the first time in a very long time, actually look like they're heading on a good path and that this is going somewhere that you eventually want it to go. But I also think the other part can be absolutely true, that you could be super, super frustrated that once again, there is a game at home with an incredible crowd, with an awesome fan base, with a fan base just gnawing to win a big game, and you're right there and you're just unable to pull it out. And yes, the quarterback got hurt and it made it a lot harder. There's still, though, were plenty of other mistakes that were made, irregardless of Dillon getting hurt, that would have given them a better shot to win the game if they were not made.
Still felt like it was all right there.
And we did. And maybe that's also impressive too. That the fact that your starting quarterback can go down and you still can be in that game and you still can play a ranked team. Maybe it is a good, like, you can look at it as a positive and say, you know what? Nothing went your way in terms of injuries and personnel or whatnot, but you still had an opportunity to win a game. And maybe that's more than a lot of other teams can say. So you could spin it that way as well.
Yeah, that's a very sobering call during a show like this. It's important to have one. Any crazy people on the phone?
Mitch, are you crazy?
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Good. Hey, you know what? I'm going to follow David's call up with the same thing. I was going to say a lot of what he had to say. That football team that we just played today, they have a great offense. We know that. And I know none of this is any consolation for losing, but we were not only competitive, but we had a chance to win there at the end. And, I'm driving home from the game. I sat way up top where I always sit, looking down at the field. You can see a lot more. But it looked to me like TJ had a lot of chances on some zone reads to pull it and make a good long run. Now, you can't blame the kid because Emmett had some good runs on those handoffs too. But, man, TJ looked like he had some chances to run the ball. But shout out to the fans. We show up. The blackout was awesome. The Nebraska fans are going to keep coming, and pretty soon we're gonna wake this thing up. And I think Rule's going to turn it around. I'm a Rule supporter. I had some hate for him tonight. You guys have talked about it quite a bit. I agree with all of the problems we had, the timeouts. But one thing that stood out to me is, man, Lincoln Riley. He had some good calls. That 2-point conversion, that was a cool play. But, man, he started passing the ball when they were just gashing it.
Yeah.
And I thought that helped us out quite a bit. But when's our bye week? I haven't had a chance to look. I'm driving.
I believe it's after the 2 weeks. Yeah, it's after the UCLA game. They're back in action next week against UCLA on the road. That game will be
so
8 o'clock on Big
thought
Fox.
is we're okay. I really hate the Iowa game, but we could end this thing 8-4, 9-3. We're okay.
Yeah,
everybody's going to be fine. I want to hear from Vince in Wine Country. I haven't heard from him for a while. A little bit worried about the guy, but I like his positivity, and I'd like him to call in and give us that pep talk that we're going to end up 9-3. I think we have a chance for it.
Yeah,
we got to fix our trenches.
Absolutely. Good positive call there from Mitch. Look, I still think 8-4 is definitely on the table. That's my opinion. I think it's there. It depends on how healthy is Dillon.
Yeah.
So if Dillon isn't healthy, then concerning. If Dillon is healthy, 8-4 definitely.
Rule seemed to I think the only real thing he said about it in the presser, if you missed it, was if TJ had to play Saturday, we'd prep him up and he'd be fine.
And they will have a very different playbook and be very more prepared.
Sure.
Like a lot more prepared if TJ.
Totally horrible situation for him to come in.
It's an awful situation. Yeah. It's a terrible situation. Like it could, honestly, if we're drawing up situations for TJ Lateef to really be on the big stage for the first time, that might be the worst.
Yeah.
Like in that big of a game against that opponent. In just that, not like the atmosphere was bad for him, but that is, dude, you're in a blackout. Like, this is awesome. Like, all the fans are there. Everybody's counting on you, and you're a true freshman from California, and this is your first big moment. Like, it just, I can't. It's nightmare stuff.
Trust me, I want to tee off on the Teefies, but I'm
not going to because
yeah.
I don't think you could get a proper. Also, too, like it's the TJ Lateef conversation is one that I never really argued with anyone about because I'm not at practice. You're not at practice, right? We don't really know fully
I'm not
how
at
he
practice,
looks.
that's
Yeah,
right.
so it's just one of those things. But hopefully, if he plays again, they will be more confident in his ability to throw the football because that was concerning. The fact that they were not confident in his ability to push the football down the field. Go back to the Jason and contracting hotline. Zach, you are up. Zach,
Hey,
what do you got
fellas.
for us? How are you?
Hey, fellas. I'm going to kind of go the opposite direction of those last two callers. I just don't think Matt Rule's a very good coach. I mean, it just the frustrating part about it is that we're always in these games and we're so close and you can see it. It's the players, but the coaches are the ones putting them in bad positions. And that's why we're losing these games. I mean, he's schizophrenic. He has no clear vision for the program. He has no style. He has no identity. He says he wants to run the ball, doesn't run the ball. He's all over the place with his game management. He's all over the place with his time management. His recruiting's all over. He recruits these skill guys, but doesn't recruit guys for the line. He doesn't build the trenches. There's been no improvement there. He's just, he fires Satterfield. He keeps him on the staff. And then he goes and hires Holgorsen, which Holgerson's a spread offense guy. Does that going to work in the Big Ten if you're not Ohio State and Oregon? I mean, what is his identity? What's his vision for this football program? Yeah. I watched a team last week play and I know we won, but I thought the guy across the field, that coach had more of an identity with his team with Northwestern. He had more of an identity. He had more of a style of how he wanted to play. He was physical. He managed the game well. He managed the clock well. We are just all over the place. Every game, everything looks difficult. It's crazy to me. He's so all over the place. I don't know what your guys' take is at. And I'm curious why they gave him an extension too. I mean, what has he done? He's went to a bowl game. Great. Yeah. 80% of football teams go to a bowl game.
Yeah. Appreciate the call, Zach. I do think that there is some validity toward,
what is it you say
yeah.
you do here?
Yeah, exactly. And so here's I will give you one of my bigger problems with this team and how it relates to Matt Rule. Matt Rule got hired here at Nebraska in part because he's a player development guy. That was his thing. We take recruiting classes that aren't that great at Temple and Baylor, and we develop those players better than any other program in the country. And we do more with less. And imagine what I can do here at Nebraska, getting more with more, right? Because you just have more resources and more ability to get better recruits. And the D-line in particular, I mean, once again, just unable to really manage the run game and stop the run and bottle the run. And at times, I mean, look, Lincoln Riley, there were moments where I'm like, why are you throwing the ball? You should be running the ball every single time because it seems like Nebraska can't stop the run. And it's just incredibly frustrating that a quote unquote player development coach, a player development driven coach, has a defensive line that really hasn't developed, and has just not gotten better to the point that you need them to get better. Now, granted, Williams, Ranieri has gotten better. Davis has gotten better. Yeah. There are guys on the D-line have gotten better.
Spots.
But overall, that unit just has not advanced the way that it has needed to advance. And it's going to be in part of the reason why Nebraska loses football games. And it's been the reason why Nebraska's lost football games.
What were those timeouts?
I know. That's another one, too, where it's just you got to manage the clock better. If you're going to tell me it's going to be a close game every single time you play in the Big Ten, you got to be better at managing the clock. And he was terrible. He used 2 terrible timeouts. And boy, they really could have used them at the end of the game in terms of, what type of plays they wanted to call, because eventually that 2-minute warning hit and you're like, crap, we have 80 yards to go with a quarterback that we clearly aren't confident in throwing the ball with. All right, we're going to head to our final caller before we head to the last segment of Big Red Overreaction. Kurt Signetti, after a big win against Maryland, is tuning into BROR. What do you got to say, Kurt?
Guys, I want to thank you for taking my call, and even more than that, I want to thank the caller just a few callers back, as humbly as I possibly can. I'm Kurt Signetti. I wanted to thank you for acknowledging that not everybody can be Indiana. And that's a shocking admission for Nebraska, the mighty Big Red of the North. I want to thank you guys for being polite enough to wear black to today's funeral of the Big Red of Nebraska, because everybody knows the real Big Red in the mighty Big Ten Conference, well, it now resides right here in Indiana. So I just want to thank Nebraska fans for being so polite and wearing black to their own way. That's fantastic stuff. I hope you enjoy highlights of our 3-star quarterback lighting up Maryland with 55 points today. As you'll remember, that's 3 more touchdowns than Nebraska. And unlike your backup 4-star quarterback, our 3-star quarterback did not trip your best player in the backfield on 4th and 1 when you're in the final Hail Mary drive to win the big game.
All right, that was
the real Big Red in Indiana celebrating. We should note back-to-back 9-0 starts. Remember those 9-win seasons, guys?
Yeah.
1969 to 2001. You had the longest 9-win season streak in the entire nation at one time. But now you have callers telling you, rightly so, not everybody can be Indiana. So tonight, I'm drinking to celebrate your coach, Matt Rule's contract extension, knowing as of tonight, I will only need 2 offensive plays to beat Nebraska year in and year out. That's a quarterback draw where at Indiana, we spread the field before we run the quarterback up the middle. Untouched for the touchdown, by the way. 3-star quarterback. And a well-blocked counter play that works every single time it's run, as USC proved tonight. So my congratulations to Matt Rule and the mighty Huskers, the second best Big Red. Well, maybe third best Big Red. Who else wears red? Maybe the 4th best USC. Big Red in the Big Ten Conference. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Coach. An exclusive interview with Indiana football head coach Kurt Signetti.
Can we pull the curtain back on this for a little bit here, just a second?
Go ahead.
So it's up on the screener. We're like, okay, this guy's going to pretend to be Kurt Signetti. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a terrible bit. And at first, I thought it was. And then he kind of won me over.
Like, he was great. He's
got great pipes.
He sounded like he was in, like, I imagine him in a library with a cigar,
a snifter of porter.
With a nice glass of wine. And like, you know what? I love it when our callers have their own statisticians dropping some stats too. Kurt Signetti.
And I mean, Indiana very well might win the national championship. So better than I thought it was going to be.
Better than I thought it was.
I didn't think it was that funny, but he was really committed.
Hey, that call was brought to you by our title sponsors, Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Dingman's Collision Center is our supporting sponsor, along with Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more, and Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. We have one more segment left.
Whoa.
We have 5 callers waiting. We're going to go through them, and then if we can get in the last second, we will get all your calls in. We want to hear your reactions. It's been a great night of calls, not a great night of football, as Nebraska unfortunately falls to USC 21-17. We're going to wrap up Big Red Overreaction coming up next year on 1620 The Zone.
Big Red Overreaction, the final segment brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, also brought to you by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. I don't know. You guys seem tired. This is like we're getting into Josh time right now. So I don't know where you guys are at, but
no, actually,
LFG.
I have an appointment at a whiskey bar after this. So
LFG.
Do you want to come with me? Screw your family.
They're asleep.
Peter, you in?
For whiskey bar?
A little whiskey bar after this.
I wouldn't say no.
Maybe have a little.
I wouldn't say no.
Maybe
The new Three Amigos.
Maybe have a little.
on
I don't know.
1620
A little sip of a rye, a little
zone.
sip of a bourbon, just to
Hell, let's do it.
Just a responsible sip. Just
Yeah.
a very like a Steven Sipple, if you will. Just a very responsible, a Steven Sipple of whiskey, if you will. Just very, very responsible. Where you do have
Damn
to
it,
be,
that was good.
where you do have to be careful here and make sure that you don't consume enough so you can actually go home to your family.
Yeah. So Big Red Overreaction is brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair. That feels oddly related. It's also brought to you by Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more.
Yeah, that's related.
And Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. We're going to go through the Jay Stinnett contracting hotline one more time. Got 5 on hold. When they're done, we're done.
Alrighty. This call, it's a special call. He's been waiting for 22 minutes. Because it's such a special call, we're going to have it sponsored by a special place, Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more. Daniel, you are up and going. What do you got to say for us? You're one of 5 final callers here on Big Red Overreaction.
Hey, I just want to say it's great to be here. I got 2 things I want to talk about. First off, there's been a couple people talking about TJ Lateef and how they're upset by his level of preparedness, and I just want to temper our expectations and remind everyone of some of the backup quarterbacks that we've had in the last 10 years. One of them caught a touchdown for the Commanders recently. The other one's on our punt team now. We had another one that played for our basketball team briefly. So that's not really something that I'm too concerned about. We've certainly seen lots of bad. I think the last good backup quarterback was Tommy Armstrong. But I think he was the last one that was any good. But aside from that, when we're talking about the identity of this team, I do think obviously we've leaned heavily on the RPO. I think when you bring in a freshman like that to run that kind of offense, you're going to see some issues there, especially when he's running with guys that he doesn't run with in practice. It's a difficult offense to just jump in and run off the rip. And lastly, with all the positivity that's going on, I just want to jump on that and say I'm right there with them. I'm not freaking out week to week. When we win, it seems like we get really high, and when we lose, we're down in the dumps. I just think we need to zoom out and just embrace this rebuild, because it is a rebuild, and I think we got the right captain.
Daniel, thanks for calling in. That was a very good call, and I'm sorry for leaving the lights on when you got home today. So appreciate it. That was my roommate. Thanks for calling in, Danny. He was at the game today. Ball knower. Good guy.
Danny Dime.
Yeah. He's right. I'm sure we're gonna get into an argument about this tomorrow when we're watching football. I don't entirely agree with Daniel, just because yes, the expectations for TJ Lateef need to be tempered a little bit. Like you can't expect him to go out there and tear it up and be absolutely incredible, right? Okay. But at the same time, it should have looked a little like it should have your when you're going from your starter to your backup, okay, the drop off should not have been that big. And I'm not saying TJ was terrible. I'm not saying TJ was awful or anything like that. But it just is a little concerning to me that it was just very clear they just could not run an offense with the backup quarterback, and things were incredibly limited, and they seemed very, very hesitant to throw the football.
Incredibly. Whether that's on him or the coaching staff, I'm not sure. I have a hunch, but I'm not in the huddles. I don't know.
Yeah. I agree. You can't expect TJ Lateef, a true freshman who hasn't been in that position, to go ahead and just absolutely tear it up and be awesome. At the same time, I can expect you to get more than 3 points on, basically an entire second half of football. Okay. I can expect that. And unfortunately, they just weren't able to figure out that offensive end outside of Emmett Johnson when TJ was in the game. Albeit, though, if TJ Lateef is going to be the starting quarterback against UCLA, I'm going to have a lot more confidence in him this game, because they will actually have time to plan around him and do the things that he does best. We will go to the next caller. We have 4 callers left. This call is brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. Joel, you are on Big Red Overreaction.
Hey, guys. Sorry to call again, but I did have a few questions. So.
Okay, go ahead.
Maybe I'm beating a dead horse here, but Matt Rule was at Baylor and Temple for, we'll say, a very short time. What's the proof that he actually developed anybody? And then the second thing I have is to give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt. As far as I was concerned, I heard that Raiola kind of came knocking at our door, and maybe we weren't planning on having a 5-star quarterback. And granted, we're glad we have him, but maybe that wasn't part of the plan, and the whole Raiola thing kind of threw his whole rebuild plan off course. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Joel. Yeah, I unfortunately at this point, like Dylan Raiola, when he was in the game, for him making his 22nd start, it still just isn't fully there yet. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not a bust by any means, but it's just not. He hasn't reached the. It's not just he hasn't reached the expectations of being this like Heisman first round pick guy. He hasn't. We saw it in the Michigan game how good he could be, and how effective he could be, and how in ways that he could win the game on his own. And we even saw that in bits and pieces against the Maryland game. It's just the Minnesota game. You're like, all right, was a setback for him. And I just don't think he's fully come back to it. Now, also as well, it seems like they have pared down the offense maybe just a little bit because they've been able to rely on Emmett Johnson so heavily. And they've done a little bit. They've relied on him a little bit less. And so that's fine. And, obviously he's got to get better at the fade balls, though.
I don't think having a 5-star quarterback on your team should mess you up all that much.
No, I don't think it should at all. I think it should do the opposite. We go back to the phone lines. This call brought to you by Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air system experts. We got Jake. Jake, what do you got to say? Jake?
Fellas, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You guys ready to go home yet?
No, we're good. I'm having a great time.
Listen, man, I got 2 things for you. Number one, all I've heard over the last 2 or 3 weeks is put TJ Lateef in. I'm curious to know, was it his abilities that didn't get us through, or was it the coaching that didn't allow him to kind of throw the ball around? Secondly, are we cursed?
No.
Is Husker football cursed? It's been 10 plus years of unbelievable losses that you cannot explain, fumbles that you couldn't see coming, interceptions that, quite frankly, my grandma couldn't throw, punting the wrong direction. Last year against Iowa, even thinking about the game makes me want to puke. And then tonight, man, we're up 14-6. We have an interception at their end of the field. 4 or 5 plays later, Dylan Raiola is on the ground. He's hurt, out for the game, and we fumbled the football away. I'll always cheer for the Huskers. I'm glad to listen to your guys' show. Thanks for being here. Go Big Red.
Hey, Jake. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the backbreaking losses. I mean, Jake should start a podcast series where he talks about all of the terrible, backbreaking, horrible losses that Nebraska football has suffered since maybe, I don't know, maybe we do the end of the Riley era all the way up through the Rule era. Wouldn't that be a good idea?
That's Josh Peterson's story to tell.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Don't call me and get mad. We go to Kevin from Denver calling in here on Big Red Overreaction. Kevin from Denver. His call is brought to you by No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. Kevin, what do you got for us?
That's not true. I'm sitting here eating peanut M&Ms right now. So
hell yeah, brother.
I just wanted to call and say, is this Big Red overreaction or is this Big Red positive reaction?
It's Big Red, whatever you want it to be.
Beautiful future reaction. Like, to me, we're calling about overreaction. Let's overreact about this, right? Latif was 5 for 7 for 7 yards. Okay, granted, I know that that offensive line is just absolutely horrid and can't protect for anything, but he couldn't read more than one, possibly 2 routes, and then he was frantic. You know, I mean, that should not be out of a 4-star. He's a freshman, get it all, but this is Nebraska. The lights are on. Let's go. I mean, we failed all over around. I mean, our offense, the Dylan Riolu, 91 yards, 10 for 15. You know, we can't get 100 yards passing. They're talking about the cornerbacks for USC like they're, you know, all 5 stars, top tier, getting drafted first round next year. We can't throw a ball deep at all. Defense can't do nothing. We had a great first quarter, great, maybe good first half, but again, defense just stalls out. We got to realistically win the race of putting points up on the board. They're not going to give us 10 points. They're not going to give us less than 17. So that, and then we got the, I mean, sorry, my mind's going everywhere. Matt Rule, multiple timeouts in a 2-minute period. And then, the trick play, like, why aren't we pushing that guy out of bounds? You know, don't give him that. Let's take the 15 yards. I mean, it's just, to me, the coaching all around, we should be a lot higher than where we're at. And to see us going 6-6 this year, possibly, is that worth the 2-year extension we just gave him?
Yeah, I mean, that is gonna be the talking point, Kevin, in terms of just the terrible timing of signing the extension and then having a big game that Nebraska hasn't won in a while, and then once again losing that game. And there's going to be a lot of people questioning the decision, whether it be from a local perspective or national perspective. But I don't think that the extension wasn't just, hey, Matt Rule has won a ton, we have to sign him to this. It definitely had other reasons for it happening. And I've tried not to give my opinions on the extension of Big Red overreaction because we're talking about the game, but it's something that if you want to judge it on national standards, maybe on a national standard, he didn't deserve, 18 and 15 coach that doesn't have a ranked win necessarily deserves a 2-year extension. But from a Nebraska standard of where the program was to where the program is to where the program is going, Matt Rule had done enough to that point to deserve some faith being, instilled in him and his program. And also, too, you got to be aware of, the potential of people maybe poaching him, at the end of the year. And at that point, he hadn't lost to USC. So you don't know. If you don't sign that extension, then you beat USC. You don't think Matt Rule flies up to the top of some head coaching boards, right? So it's just kind of
we at least would have went, oh yeah, great,
yeah,
go,
so
yeah, that's good.
It's just one of those things.
Good
where
extension.
They had to, they kind of had to do it with everything there, and also the extension did bring a promise of more investment in resources in football, which is inherently a very, very good thing that people should be happy about.
Be a shame if people started calling him like a front runner or something.
No, that'd be. We go to Randy, the final call of Big Red Overreaction, which is brought to you by one of our title sponsors, Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Randy, you're on BROR. Go ahead.
Well, I didn't call to talk about the contract extension, but it's a thing that as a recruit, you want to know that your coach is signed to the end of your time, even though there's a 50% chance you won't be there by that time because you'll transfer portal out. But that's another story. But this is not Akron or Houston Christian. This is, Latif is 5 of 7 for 7 yards, 6 for 18 on runs, and 2 costly fumbles that were, that drive killers, basically. This is both of them. Dylan had decent numbers. I mean, he was moving the ball, but I actually did an analysis. I had somebody, a good friend of mine who has been calling for Latif for weeks now. Mm-hmm. Put Latif in. There were 30 plays with Latif in the game. Got 113 yards in those 4 drives with 30 plays. 9 were Emmett runs for a total of 70 yards. So the other 21 plays where Emmett was not given the ball to run, 43 yards, 2.0 per play.
Oh God!
And Emmett, did anybody mention Emmett is now at 1,002 yards?
Yeah, that's an
departure in years.
First time since Amir.
Years.
Randy.
I can't even remember the last time.
I didn't think it was possible.
Yeah, it was Amir. Amir Abdul was the last 1,000-yard rusher for Nebraska.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Isn't he like 35 now or something?
No, it's been a minute. It's been a hot minute. And he's still in the NFL though, Amir. He's playing on the Colts, having a great year.
He is.
So,
he's making some money. Hopefully he's spending it wisely. Or not spending it.
Hopefully he gives a little to the NIL people, right, Randy?
Well, we just have Buffett as opens up his heart someday.
Sure.
That ain't happening though. He don't give to Nebraska. He supports it, but he doesn't give to us. So.
Thank you for the call, Randy. Really appreciate it. Hey, we started the night with somebody getting mad that I said hike them off sides, and we ended with somebody talking about hopefully Warren Buffett will give the football program more money. What an incredible, a phenomenal, Big Red overreaction here. We want to thank our title sponsors, Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. No Name Nutrition. Live a better, healthier, more natural life. And our supporting sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center and Mechanical Repair, along with Prairie Flower Casino. Play longer, win more. Peerless Energy Systems, your local compressed air systems experts. And we want to give a big shout out to the Jay Stinnett Contracting Hotline that had a bunch of interesting calls, a bunch of good calls, a bunch of maybe not so good calls. But you know what? BROR is undefeated. It's because of the people who call in, and we are always so grateful for the people who come in and contribute to the show, and people talking about people we are grateful for contributing to the show. Thank you, Peter Krenzer on the ones and twos.
Absolutely.
Peter Krenzer, incredible job. And thank you to the guy to the right of me stepping in today, Josh Odson in the hosting chair, doing an incredible job. As always, I've been Matt McMaster. Don't forget to tune in to Gary and Matt at 6 a.m. on Monday, the Connor Happer Show with Josh Odson from 10A to 2P, and also to Unsportsmanlike Conduct from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. You've been listening to Big Red Overreaction. See you later.